Schizophrenia is a mental disorder that disrupts many areas of the brain, leading to faulty perception, mental fragmentation, and withdrawal from reality. Our company tests for thousands of genes that identify this trait.
The specific genetic basis for schizophrenia is still largely disputed, but most researchers can agree that affected levels of dopamine are a key element. There is an association with schizophrenia in both children and adults, and the repetition of 3 nucleotides in the CTG18 gene on the 18th chromosome. This repetition causes the allele to be longer than it is in normal, healthy DNA. Schizophrenia has many symptoms. The most common are delusions, hallucinations, and disorganized behavior and speech. The chances of someone having schizophrenia are about 7 in 1,000. There are thought to be as many as 60 genetic variations that can have an impact on the trait. For example, the trinucleotide repetition on the CTG18 gene raises chances of developing the trait, as well as a deletion syndrome called 22q11DS that can impact dozens of genes.
Let us inform you about 2 inherited gene variants that can influence your risk of obtaining schizophrenia. The strongest SNP associated with this disease is located in the MHC gene known as RS11400120. There is a 1.167% chance of obtaining this disease. If you are male, it is likely that you will have a SNP in the CSF2RA gene identified as RS4129148. It impacts the X chromosome, and since males only have one X chromosome, they have a higher chance of obtaining this disease than females.
Next topic is benefits. 1. The earlier the disease is identified and treatment is immediately started, the better the long-lasting outcomes it is for the person's health. The longer the disease is untreated, the worse the functional outcomes increase, meaning their life is more at risk for being taken over. Schizophrenics have behavioral difficulties in social settings and being able to take care of themselves, which is why it is important for our test to identify how the disease can affect a person's day-to-day life. The commonly used way to diagnose someone with schizophrenia is by a psychiatrist. Psychiatrists use series of interviews with the affected and a close family member to the ill. They look at the statistics of where the patient started out and where he or she is now. Symptoms start off mild, such as signs of tension or trouble concentrating. As the disease moves on to different stages, symptoms can escalate to hallucinations and disordered thinking. Our test uses the presence of symptoms to characterize various types of schizophrenia, such as catatonic, paranoid, disorganized, and undifferentiated schizophrenia.
Genes are more like knobs and switches, less like hardwired blueprints. This means that even if someone has a genetic variation that could give rise to schizophrenia, they might not develop the disorder. This is a distinct limitation of our genetic test, and it is important to keep this in mind when getting tested. Also, studies are still being done on the genetic specificity of schizophrenia. Because of this, and because complex genetic variations usually cause the disorder, it can be difficult to test for. Today, there is a great deal of fear surrounding genetic tests. Consumers, worried their personal genetic information will be leaked, sometimes choose not to get tested. They fear a future in which employers and insurance companies will use this information against them, and justifiably so. That's why, here at our company, we aim to protect not only your genetic information, but also your future. In other words, as far as we're concerned, your genes are your business, and nobody else's. If you come test with us, we promise you 100% confidentiality. No records, no data collecting dust in a file somewhere, only the few sheets of paper we put in your hand on your way out the door. Come get a genetic test done with us today, and improve your future. That is, without having to think about ruining it too.